We were just talking about the Chinese effect on oil. Let's talk about China's oil demand rising. President Biden worrying about gasoline prices. We've also got a ready supply of Middle East oil. All of this is something that both leaders can agree on as they continue the dialogue that began at that rare in-person meeting yesterday. Rick Newman has been watching that for us. So we know there's not much they can agree on because not much came out of yesterday, but lower oil prices are good for both.
I mean, this is the thing I kept thinking of as I watched the coverage of Biden and Xi meeting. Oh, they made a little disagreement. This is actually important. The militaries are going to communicate more. They are going to talk more about shared interest in climate change. But there's a huge shared interest both presidents have that nobody's talking about, which is keeping oil prices low. And ironically, President Xi of China may have more ability to do this than President Biden here in the United States. We've had massive shifts in the flow of oil around the world during the last few years. Some of that is just where the new customers are. Some of it's relating to the war, sanctions on Russia and Russian oil. But the United States used to be the biggest customer of the Middle East oil exporters. No more. The biggest customer of Saudi Arabia, Iran, and most of the other big producers is now China. So as this war has erupted between Israel and Hamas, I mean, of course, at the beginning, there was concern. What if this spreads to oil markets? We saw a little bump in oil prices. They're now way lower. And you have to believe that behind the scenes, China does have some influence with Iran. They are its biggest customer. The question has been all along, Iran is behind all the mischief makers in the Middle East. Is Iran going to do something? Iran, I mix it up. Are they going to do something to make this a bigger war? And you got to believe that China is sitting there saying, we really don't want to see oil prices go above $100 per barrel because that is in China's interest, just as in President Biden's interest to keep oil prices low. I can tell you the White House is obsessed with gasoline prices. They saw what happened to Biden's popularity when they went all the way up to $5. Biden's popularity went down, has not come back up, and they know they have to do everything to keep gas prices low in 2024.
So Rick, do you think now that gas prices are coming under pressure here, maybe even heading lower, good news for Biden?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a direct correlation. The guest from Opus was talking about, he said gasoline prices are special. They have an massively outsized effect on consumer psyches. People, the average household spends only 3% of its budget or so on gasoline, way more on food and way more on housing. There's just something about those gasoline prices, 2-foot-high numbers everywhere in the country. Even if you don't drive that much, if you see, with these threshold numbers have a big effect. When it goes over $4, people just think something's wrong. God forbid it should go over $5 as it did in 2022. That's like a disaster. So that just tells people something's wrong. I have a different metric. I go by the price of avocados. When avocados are like less than, you got to have a household supply of avocados. I mean, when avocados are like $1.50 or less, life is good to me.
Yeah,
and when it's like $2 or more for an avocado, you remember when like the cartels got control of the avocados or something? I was like, oh. But for more people, it's gasoline prices.
Where do you go for your avocados? Where do you get the best price?
Wherever the best price is. And I don't care about organic either.
I go to TJ's. That's usually where I find the cheapest avocados.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know.
Avocados.
The avocado index, yeah.
It's the Rick index.
I haven't been eating enough avocados lately. This is a good reminder for me. Thank you, Rick Newman. If I take
Gasoline,
nothing else away from this,
gasoline and avocados, the only things that matter.
Exactly.